Hello, I am Miss Pat from Samuels Public Library. This week in Science Scouts, we're going to learn about sounds. Our book today is going to be The Sound of Silence by Katrina Goldsaito. Okay. So, little Yoshito wiggled with anticipation. 3, 2, 1. He threw open the front door. The sounds of the city started all around him. Tokyo was like a symphony hall. Toshio listened to the sounds of his boots squishing and squashing through the puddles, and the tiny raindrops patting on his umbrella. The sound of his giddy giggles made him giggle more. Suddenly, Yoshio heard the strangest sound, high and then low, squeaky and vibrating. Amazing! It was a koto player, carefully tuning her instrument. Then the koto player played. The notes were twangy and twinkling. They tickled Yoshito's ears. When the song finished, Yoshito said, "Sensei, I love sounds, but I've never heard sound like that." The koto player laughed, and it sounded like the metal bell that played in the wind in Mama's garden. "Sensei," Yoshito said, "do you have a favorite sound?" "The most beautiful sound," the koto player said, "is the sound of silence, of Ma." "Silence?" Yoshito asked, but the koto player just smiled, a mysterious smile, and went back to playing. Yoshito bowed to the koto player and ran to school. "Where can I find silence?" Yoshito wondered as he listened to the thwack of his boots on the pavement. He listened for it through the school day, but there was always some kid making noise. At recess, the sun came out and Yoshio went to the quietest place he knew, the bamboo grove at the edge of the playground. But even there, the bamboo made a taka-taka-taka sound as the wind banged its stalks together. He closed his eyes and heard the swish, swish, swish of the wind, making the leaves talk. It was beautiful, but it wasn't silence. Walking home from school, Yoshito listened hard. He could hear the horns of buses and the whoosh of the bullet trains and the beep, beep, beep of the traffic lights, but no silence. Yoshito knew so many different sounds, loud and swift, sudden and soothing, but silence? Where was silence? It wasn't in the dining room, where there was always the sound of chopsticks and slurping and chewing and swallowing. Silence wasn't in the bath, where even his toes made noise and little drops of water kept dripping off his nose. Drip, drip, drip. That night, Yoshito tried to stay up late to catch the silence while his family slept. But his eyes got heavy and then heavier, and soon the sound of a distant radio became part of his dreams. The next morning, Yoshio woke up to his neighbor's dog barking and barking, and oh no, he had missed the silence. Yoshio walked to school early. His sisters whizzed by on their way to the park, screeching Yoshio's name. Where was silence? Yoshio heard the creak of the school gates as he pulled them open. No one was at school. He put on his inside shoes and listened as they shuffled on the shiny floor. The classroom felt different without anyone in it. He sat at his desk by the window and pulled out a book. He loved this story, and as he read, he forgot where he was. Suddenly, in the middle of a page, he heard it. No sounds of footsteps, no people chattering, no radios, no bamboo, no kodos being tuned. In that short moment, Yoshio couldn't even hear the sound of his own breath. Everything felt still inside of him, peaceful like the garden after it snowed, like feather-stuffed futons drying in the sun. Silence had been there all along. It had been there between the thumps of his boots when he ran, when the wind stopped for just a moment in the bamboo grove, at the end of his family's meal when everyone was happy and full, after the water finished draining from his bath, before the koto player's music began, and hovering in the air right after it ended. It was between and underneath every sound, and it had been there all along. Ma, silence. Okay, so that's a pretty hard thing for us to listen to is silence. But we're going to talk about sounds today and what is a sound, what makes a sound. So, we're going to talk about sound energy. So anything that vibrates, that's going to create the sound energy. When someone plays a guitar and they pull the strings are going to vibrate, they're going to move, and they're going to transmit energy. You're not going to see the energy like these waves. If you hold your hand up against your throat when you talk, right, you can hear it vibrating, you can feel it vibrating. That's the sound energy coming out. And when the sounds vibrate, right, they're going to travel through the air up to your ear. And depending on what kind of a sound it is, it's going to depend on what kind of waves they are. But sound can travel through the air, sound can travel through solids, and sound can travel through water. Okay? So if you actually put a book against your ear and talk, you're going to find out it sounds louder than if you just talk like this. Okay, when you're talking like this, it's traveling through the air to your ear. When you go like this, it's actually traveling right through the solid of the book, and it sounds louder, right? This guy with his head on the desk is traveling through the desk, and this one has his head in the water. If you've ever gone underwater and talk, okay, you can hear sounds underwater. So it travels faster when the molecules are packed together, and they're packed together in solids. They're a little less packed together in the liquids and even in the gas. Okay, in the gas, they kind of spread all apart. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get there, but it travels faster in the solids. It'll travel second fastest in the liquids. You can hear it. It just takes a little bit longer to get there. Now, we're going to talk about different sounds, and we're going to make something that's going to have different sounds, okay? All the sounds are traveling at the same speed, but different things are going to make different sounds. So if they are lots of sounds, like this one has about 8, and both of them are going to get there in about a couple of seconds. This one has 8 waves getting to your ear. This one only has 3. So these are considered short waves, even though there's a lot of them. That's going to be high frequency, high pitch sounds. Okay, so that might be like a whistle. Okay, and these short blue ones here, there's fewer, there's less of them. They're going to be lower. They're going to sound low. So when you hear people talk sometimes, and you can hear people, different sounds, they're going to go, ooh. Okay, that's the low sound. Those are the low waves. But those really high ones, they kind of be like this. Okay, so that's going to be the high frequency. And again, it'll be different vibrations coming from here. Okay, so what we're going to do today is kind of make a guitar, and we're going to practice a couple other things. So let me get that thing. Okay, I have my granddaughter Aurora here today, and we're going to be showing you guys how you can make different kinds of sounds. We already talked about when you put your hand on here and you go and even when you just talk, right? So say your name and just talk.
Aurora.
Right? You feel the vibrations here. That's the making of the sound. Now, I told them earlier, try putting the book against your ear and saying Aurora.
Aurora.
Do you hear it louder? All right. So remember, it travels through the sound, travels through solids a lot faster. So we're going to show you different kinds of things you could practice at home. Remember, you do this with parent permission though. So glasses
And crystal glass.
Okay. Glasses, you take a spoon, and you gotta remember, ask permission. So just a regular glass, you hear that noise.
And with a crystal glass.
Right, so see how they make different types of pitches. Remember we talked about the different types of waves? So this is gonna be that low short wave, because it's lower. Not because the glass is lower, but just because the type of glass. This is a little bit thicker than this. This is thinner. Yeah, down here is a little bit different than up here. Okay. So if you went on the side, listen to how long it goes. All right, it's going all the way. And you can make sounds like that in there.
And like this.
And you, well, actually, what you will see people doing on TV shows is they'll put a paper cup to their ear. Okay, so they'll put a paper cup with a string going to another paper cup, and they put the paper cup to their ear. Okay, and the string will go to the other paper cup, and I can talk in the other paper cup. It'll go through the solids and up to your ear. Okay, so that is something. That's how. Ask your grandparents. That's probably how they made telephones.
This is just like a regular cup with a balloon on. You cut the bottom, and you can do.
Right.
Or
it's kind of like a drum. You can hear the vibrations even after she hits it. You can hear the vibrations even after it's been hit. And so we're going to talk about, I'm going to put some sprinkles here on top. Now without touching the sprinkles, you can hit the side of the cup carefully.
I'm not touching the sprinkles. And
wait a minute, you gotta hold the cup. For the vibrations, even though the cup isn't moving, the vibrations are traveling up the cup to the balloon and knocking off the sprinkles. Right? We talked about being able to see the vibrations. So you can't see them, but you know they're traveling because she's hitting here and it's going up the solid to the sprinkles. Okay, so the craft that you guys will get this week, right? If you guys do come into the library, and the library will be open on Monday. So actually it opened up yesterday.
It's like a part of a guitar, and
you're gonna color. So you will get the guitar piece. Okay, you'll get one of these. Decide which side you want as your front. Hopefully you have some crayons or some markers at home.
I'm using markers.
You could use paints. It's up to you. But you can decorate whatever your side is. Okay?
You could like even do like a rainbow around this.
Okay. So you can decorate it however you want. You don't have to do both sides. Can't get them open. All right. And when you are done coloring, and actually before you color, you may want to take your 4 sticks. There are 4 sticks in your bags, and you're going to glue them together. So here's 2 and 2. You glue them together, and then you might want to color so that these things have time to dry. And show them where you're going to put them.
And then,
so you can glue them on here if you want, or you can just leave them so that you can put on the rubber bands. You're going to have 5 rubber bands, but you can pick whichever 3 you want to put on there.
Then you can fix the popsicle sticks after, because they're probably going to get messed up when you put them on.
If you don't put the popsicle sticks on, then the rubber band, whoops, the rubber bands are going to be just right up against the cardboard.
And then it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it just scrapes against the cardboard. It's not so good. So putting the popsicle sticks there gives it a little bit more of an oomph.
Now, see, it's like a little guitar. If you hold it up to your ear, it goes, you can hear it, like it's louder if you hold it up to your ear.
Right, so as long as it's touching you, and it can just be touching you almost like a violin, right? And just brush against the top. And you guys probably can't hear it because these are really low sounds. These are those low frequency sounds. But if you put it up against your ear, you can. Okay, but if you just go like this, all right, you gotta be very careful. Otherwise, it's just picky. Right? If you try and do 2, that's not working. Okay. But notice each one is a little different sound. And if you take the really big fat ones that we give you, and most of you will get at least 1 fat one, and that's actually why this one bent, because we kind of put it on too tight. But if you put on a fatter one, it's going to be a really deep, low sound. Remember we talked about being really low, right? As opposed to being really high. Okay. So those are some of the instruments or the sounds that you guys can make. And then if you want, you could always take a paper towel holder and you can glue your guitar onto the guitar. Take your paper towel holder and glue it onto the guitar, and you can actually play it that way. Okay. Okay.
If yours does.
All right, she's gonna do it like a harp. And it might work that way too. It does. All right. And remember, if you put it close to the sound, you put it down on the table, listen to it with your head on the table while it rests on the table, right? And see if it sounds like that.
It's music land.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this. If you get a chance, listen for some silence too. That's really hard to do. When you go outside, you always hear something, right? You always hear birds. Right now we got the air conditioning running. You're always going to hear something, but listen for the silence. Sometimes that just helps you to calm down, okay, and relax. But even sometimes going to bed at night, you don't hear the silence. You go to bed with some sort of noise. So look forward to seeing you guys in the library. Come in and ask for our science kits. We have a limited number. And look forward to seeing you next week, because next week we're going to learn about rockets.
Bye.
Bye.